Welcome, and thank you for everybody joining us today. We're excited to share with you more about the Move with the Mayor initiative, how it works, how to get involved, and spotlights from Move with the Mayor participating mayors and cities. Additionally, we'll provide more information on the safe routes to school, which is part of the Move with the Mayor commitment to sharing evidence-based practices with participating cities. And over the course of the hour, you'll be hearing from the Move with the Mayor team, as well as communities across the country with aspects of Move with the Mayor participation. For those of you who are new to the initiative, we are the National Forum for Heart Disease and Stroke Prevention, a national nonprofit organization comprised of more than 100 members representing the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. And Move with the Mayor began with a simple idea 12 years ago that mayors can promote health in their communities, and the best way to do so is by leading by example. In 2014, we launched in Indianapolis with then Mayor Greg Ballard to host a walk in downtown Indy. And the goal was simply to get people moving and engaged and help them realize that improving their health can be as easy as taking a few extra steps a day. The event was successful, drawing dozens of participants and local partners. And since then, Move with the Mayor has grown and evolved into a national initiative to promote not only active living, but social connection, mental health, adult immunization, and community resilience efforts, all of which are linked to heart disease and stroke prevention. To date, more than 200 mayors in nearly 40 states have walked, danced, biked, pickleballed, or otherwise moved and shared messaging to promote health in their communities. The Move with the Mayor initiative is developed and based on evidence-based programs and policies that have been extensively researched to show that they improve health. Additionally, as part of Move with the Mayor, mayors and cities are encouraged to implement other evidence-based programs to promote health, and our team provides the technical assistance and resources to do so. Before we take a closer look at Move with the Mayor, we wanted to get an idea of the types of programs and policies that you're implementing within your cities. So please take a moment to take this poll and tell us what you've been doing within your cities. We'll give just a couple more seconds. Excellent. So all of these elements that we've hosted up on the screen are all elements incorporated into Move with the Mayor programming, some of which are community guide recommendations. So the takeaway that we want to come away from this poll is that many of you are already doing elements of Move with the Mayor. And our intention for this programming is to be able to make it as light of a lift as possible, your engagement in the initiative, and to really help support the resources that you already have in place and amplify those. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, James, to talk a little bit more about how Move with the Mayor works.
Thank you, Jen. So as she said, let's get into what makes Move with the Mayor such a standout program. It's led by mayors who aren't just talking the talk. They are walking the walk, literally with their communities. In addition to mayoral leadership, Move with the Mayor includes periodic events and challenges, the opportunity to complete a self-assessment tool to identify evidence-based programs, policies, and infrastructure to promote health, the sharing of resources, and tools to help with healthy messaging campaigns. Throughout the year, these components are extended to cities to apply to a focused health issue. Move with the Mayor health issues include active living, mental health and social connectivity, cholesterol awareness, and flu immunization. Mayors may choose to participate in whatever program they would like. Each program component is offered to participating mayors, and we encourage each city to be creative and put their local spin on participation. All right, so while the foundation of mayors promoting health is the same in all of the cities, the implementation of Move with the Mayor varies widely from city to city. From Mississippi to Oregon, Mayor Hill of Louisville, Mississippi, and Mayor Stovall of Gresham highlight their city infrastructure with Move with the Mayor walks. One of our larger participating cities, Boca Raton, Florida, brought people together for a series of Zumba classes. In suburban Dumfries, Virginia, Mayor Wood gets residents moving with Move with the Mayor circuit training and yoga. In the rural Midwest, Taekwondo and cardio drumming with activities of choice for Mayor Nelson Deutsch of Michigan City, Indiana, and Supervisor Chris Barnett of Orion, Michigan. Now I'll pass to my colleague Emma to dive deeper into one of the Move with the Mayor campaigns, Active Living. Emma?
Thanks, James. Active Living is the foundation of the Move with the Mayor initiative launched 12 years ago. Participating cities complete a self-assessment, which we refer to as the roadmap, and pictured here on the screen. The roadmap helps cities identify existing policies, programs, and infrastructure that promote physical activity and heart health. The National Forum provides guidance on evidence-based recommendations on areas where cities are looking to build upon. We encourage cities to think about potential partnerships to further these goals and provide connection when possible. Mayor Kim Norton of Rochester, Minnesota, featured on the screen, is one of the longest participating mayors and highest scoring cities on the roadmap. She's utilized it to make meaningful strides to promote physical activity within her community. Later on, we'll also hear from a representative from Savannah, Georgia, on their experience with Move with the Mayor Active Living and using the roadmap. Move with the Mayor Active Living promotes evidence-based recommendations from the Community Guide. The Community Guide is a compilation of evidence-based programs, policies, and services that have been shown to improve the health of, and in some cases have a positive economic impact on populations. It's compiled by an independent panel of subject matter experts convened by the CDC. They have been publishing this resource for the past 25 years and update it regularly. Through the Move with the Mayor initiative, the National Forum provides cities with resources and technical assistance to implement recommendations that promote cardiovascular health. Recommendations in the Community Guide can include things as simple as posting signs to encourage stair use, or complex interventions such as implementing mixed-use development to encourage walking, and everything in between. In 2023, when looking at the roadmap results from all cities that were participating in Move with the Mayor Active Living that year and who opted to complete a roadmap, we found that all were implementing at least one evidence-based practice. Interventions cities are implementing have been shown to increase walking among priority populations and improve overall physical activity. Cities were implementing an average of 9 Community Guide recommendations, with nearly all cities implementing a social support interventions to promote physical activity in their community, as well as supporting healthier snack food and beverage choices in schools. In the last year, we've helped multiple cities implement one of the most straightforward Community Guide recommendations, posting signs encouraging stair use. I will pass it back to Jen for the next portion here.
Thanks so much, team. And I'm delighted to introduce Mayor Santiago Avila of Deltona, Florida. Mayor Avila and his team joined Move with the Mayor in the last year and have dove right in with both feet. And so we'll hear now about what they're doing in the community and how Mayor Avila leads these efforts. Mayor Avila.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Move with the Mayor is such an important part of our city. I put this PowerPoint together on, how we use the Move with the Mayor. As I state on here, I believe real fitness means a strong body, clear mind, and healthy food. Initiatives like Move with the Mayor and the Mayor's Fitness Challenge help you be your best. And one of our initiatives, and we can go to the next slide, that we started was empowering health through different initiatives, right? For example, we started, I want to say 3 years ago with the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, but there was always a piece of that was left out. There was always a piece that was missing. And then I believe one way or another, Jen somehow got to me through an email, through some way, somehow. I don't know how that happened, but we got introduced with each other. As a matter of fact, it could have been through the Community Leaders of America. I believe that's how we got introduced. And I was like, well, I got this whole fitness part of it, now I have the whole mind, body, and everything else that I've kind of been missing as part of that. So both the Mayor's Fitness Challenge and Move with the Mayor are designed to empower health by making wellness accessible, engaging, and community driven. These initiatives encourage residents of all ages and fitness levels to take an active role in improving their physical and mental well being through structured activities, group workouts, and consistent movement. By creating opportunities for residents to exercise together, in parks, gyms, and community spaces, these programs remove barriers to participation and foster accountability, motivation, and social connection. Beyond individual health, these initiatives strengthen community pride, promote preventative health habits, and help build a culture in Deltona where staying active is not just encouraged, but celebrated. So, and I put in here a little part of the Mayor's Fitness Challenge part, which leads us to the greater thing, which is the Move with the Mayor. But with the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, building a healthy community together was very important. So the Mayor's Fitness Challenge brings residents together to focus on improving their health in a fun, supportive environment through group workouts, activities, and weekly challenges. Participants stay motivated while building relationships with their neighbors who share the same goal of living healthier lives. This sense of community makes fitness more enjoyable and sustainable. And then preparing residents for long-term wellness. The program encourages participants to build consistency, endurance, and healthier daily habits that extend beyond the duration of the challenge. Activities are designed to be achievable for all fitness levels, helping residents gain confidence in their ability to stay active. By focusing on prevention and lifestyle changes, the challenge promotes long-term physical and mental well-being. All right. So this is the part that I got really excited about is our Mayor's Fitness Challenge. We go a little above and beyond than the national requirement or what nationals does, right? Ours is 10 weeks long, and we do 3 times a week. We do all these health challenges and stuff like that. Well, now when we incorporate the Move with the Mayor, people can actually go on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and they can read some of this information, important information, because we talk about based on the toolkit that Move with the Mayor provides. We talk about kids. There's an example on here. We talk about adults.
Just get out of that.
Sorry. So, for example, making preventative health accessible and engaging. The initiative encourages residents to take simple, achievable steps toward better health through walking, movement, and education about heart health and wellness. By bringing activities into the neighborhoods and community spaces, Move with the Mayor helps remove barriers to participation and promotes long-term healthy habits. And then leading by example to inspire community health, right? Move with the Mayor is built on the idea that leadership matters when it comes to public health. The national initiative highlights mayors across the country leading residents in physical activity to strengthen both mental and physical health, helping communities connect, move, and thrive together. And when this initiative, a lot of my residents go on some of these posts. We have about 115,000 residents in our city. And I actually get residents from sister cities. I get sometimes upwards of 200,000 in our analytics of people that are looking at what we're doing with the Move with the Mayor, their Mayor's Fitness Challenge, and people want to see their mayors get involved. I've had other mayors reach out to me, which I'll be connecting with Jen, wanting to know how they can participate more with the Move with the Mayor. In my opinion, Move with the Mayor has been, at least for the city of Deltona, more of a long-term goal versus what the Mayor's Fitness Challenge is, which is very temporary. So if we can go to the next slide. So this is a fun part. So out of the Move with the Mayor and the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, the Mayor's Warrior Run kind of was born. It's a signature event born from both of these initiatives. The Mayor's Warrior Run was created as a high-energy culminating event that gives participants a goal to train for and celebrate their progress. As part of the fitness challenge, the obstacle courses is designed to test strength, agility, and endurance while bringing residents together in a fun and memorable experience. We encourage teamwork, confidence, and community spirit. The Warrior Run welcomes participants of all fitness levels, encouraging families, friends, and co-workers to take part together and support one another. By combining fitness, teamwork, and community pride, the event helps residents push their limits while reinforcing a shared commitment to health and wellness. Turning training into achievement and momentum, the Mayor's Warrior Run gives residents a clear goal to work towards, transforming weeks of training, conditioning, and community workouts into a meaningful accomplishment. Crossing the finish line reinforces confidence, building momentum from long-term health habits, and shows participants that they are capable of more than what they thought were possible. And by the way, it might not look like it, but yes, I do all those obstacle courses myself as well. So can we move to the next slide? And this is what I mean, that the Move with the Mayor program actually encapsulates so much more than just what we post on social media, right? The providing ongoing health education and awareness. In Deltona, we use Move with the Mayor not only to encourage physical activity, but also to educate residents on the importance of preventative health, heart health, and daily movement. This informational component helps residents understand why staying active matters and how small lifestyle changes can lead to long-term results. I will add to that, and I made it very short because I know we're on limited time, but because of Move with the Mayor, we actually have two very big town halls every year. One of them is diabetes awareness, where we partner up with one of the local hospitals and we talk about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And we share that information. And number two, we try to partner with the American Heart Association and some of the other big names to talk about cholesterol, heart health, and let people understand that. And you know, the great thing about the National Forum is that you guys give us so much intel that we can provide our residents when they sit down, that we get to share with them. And sometimes there are things that they didn't know that they can do, like a few minutes of exercising or some meditating to help them. Extending the initiative through Fitness Fridays is something we also started doing to serve as a regular extension of Move with the Mayor, giving residents consistent opportunities to stay active together throughout the year. These weekly activities keep the momentum going beyond major events and help turn fitness into a routine rather than a one-time effort. And then keeping community fitness visible and accessible, very important. By hosting activities in parks, gyms, and community spaces, we bring fitness directly into the neighborhoods where residents live. This approach removes barriers to participation and reinforces a culture in Deltona where staying active, connected, and healthy is part of the everyday life. We have about 22 parks in the city of Deltona, and let me tell you that with these initiatives, we use, for a better lack of word for it, we use every single park that we have. So, and that's pretty much it. I appreciate the commitment to health. I appreciate your time, and if there's any questions I can answer for anyone, I'm here. I'm happy to answer those, but I'll just end it by saying that if you haven't taken full advantage of Move with the Mayor and everything that Jen and her team provide, including the toolkit, I cannot stress how amazing that toolkit is. As a matter of fact, full disclosure, I was complaining that, hey, February is out and done, but I need March, like all the other months, so I'm ready to go. And residents enjoy it. I did a little mistake last year. I shared one that had somebody shoveling snow, which I think I told Jen about. And one of my residents was like, Mayor, you live in Florida and you got no snow. And I'm like, no, you know, in case you're visiting a neighbor or a family or a friend, you can help them shovel snow. So we made a little bit of a joke out of my mishap, but the point in that was that they understood that, one, the mayor's not perfect, and two, moving is so important. So again, thank you to Move with the Mayor for bringing so much attention. There's so much more I can talk about. from the notices that we put by our stairs that force me as the mayor to not take an elevator, which is so much easier for me to take. But no, I take the stairs because of Move with the Mayor. So just to the mayors on this, take advantage of it. It's amazing. It's great. And I can't say anything more positive than that. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Mayor Avila. I would like to introduce our second speaker, Amand Turner, Executive Director and Reach Program Director of Healthy Savannah. Savannah has participated in Move with the Mayor for several years now, but is here today to talk about their experience in completing the Active Living Roadmap. So over to you, Armand.
Thank you so much, and kudos to the mayor that just spoke. Those pictures were amazing, put a smile on my face. But yes, hi everyone, I'm Armand Turner. I am Executive Director for Healthy Savannah. Healthy Savannah is a community health nonprofit that's been here in Savannah, Georgia for about 16 years now. We've always had a great long working relationship with our mayor's office. And in fact, Healthy Savannah was founded by one of our former mayors, Dr. Otis Johnson, who's now, even to this day, a mentor to myself and our current Mayor Johnson. So it was a no-brainer for us to work together on this Move with the Mayor initiative. We used the roadmap, and it was super beneficial to the work and the planning that we were doing. The roadmap is basically a very structured assessment of the work that we've been doing, and it was great because it sort of reaffirmed the things that we knew we did well. And it kind of brought to our attention the things that we needed a little bit more improvement on. For instance, I think our lowest score was around school districts and our basically our relationship with our schools. And that's something that we would not have put at the top of our list. It's always felt like something that we always did well, but it kind of really brought to our attention how most of the stuff we just assumed was being done, we've never actually observed it ourselves inside the school, because if anybody knows, schools and classrooms, they're like their own little countries sometimes. So while that stuff may have been going on within the schools, it was something that we didn't observe. And so it kind of reinforced the need for us to strengthen that relationship a lot more. And so that really helped with our planning and deciding on what we wanted our focus to be as we started putting together some initiatives that we wanted to focus on the youth, and we wanted to sort of bridge that gap that had slowly been created. We were really happy. Some of the activities that we did after we, basically reviewed our roadmap score and whatnot. We put together some physical activity events for the youth around Savannah. One of the things we did was collaborate with the Savannah Bananas. For anyone who doesn't know, the Savannah Bananas are a traveling baseball team. They do a lot of wacky games, and the actual owner is a really great guy who's well known around Savannah. And he's always a public face, and what's nice is when you have the mayor sort of backing you, it makes a lot of the relationships a lot easier to make. And so we were able to collaborate with them. We met them at Grayson Stadium, and they talked to the youth that we brought out there. They went through some baseball drills, and just encouraged the youth to be more physically active and make more healthy decisions. Along with that, we've hosted kickball games, and so we got with our Savannah Youth Ambassadors, which is basically like a high school internship for the city government, along with some of our community center summer camps. And we had them compete against each other in kickball tournaments. And then we would do a healthy smoothie demonstration at the end of that. And so a lot of ideas blossomed from it. And it all started with us reviewing the roadmap and trying to figure out which direction we wanted to take. And it really turned out to be a success. Working with Mayor Van Johnson's office was great. His staff and his team were super involved in everything we did. We met about every 2 weeks, and we would plan out what our next event would be. And they had great input and obviously great connections. And on behalf of Mayor Van Johnson. I think if he was just to show up and just be a face at the events, it would have been a bonus for us. But he was an active participant at all of the events, and so we've got pictures of him leading a cooking class with the apron, cutting zucchini and everything. So I can't speak enough about how great it was to work with Van Johnson and the work he did and his team did to really take this roadmap and not take the scores that weren't 100% personally, and really use it as motivation as to what direction we can take to get to 100%. And so I think we're edging closer. And I'd be happy to retake the roadmap assessment again a year from now and see how much progress we've made. The last thing I'll mention, a very important piece of a lot of the activities we did is the evaluation. And so prior to all of our activities started, we tried to get as many of the kids to take a survey as possible so we can try to get a baseline of their perspective on what good health is, and are they eating fruits and vegetables at home or at school, and how physically active are they at home and at school. I think what we know is that for a lot of students, especially when we're talking low wealth students, usually the healthiest meal they'll get is at school. And so once the summer comes around, there's a huge gap that exists, and we need to figure out where our youth is getting their nutrition from when they're outside of the school, just as much as we want to improve the nutrition inside of the school. And so I think we'll have more survey information as time goes by, and we resurvey all those youth that participated. But I think it was a critical piece that we included that kind of feeds into all of this work overall. But yeah, we had a great experience, and the roadmap was super helpful in all of that.
Thank you so much for sharing. It sounds like Healthy Savannah has some amazing programming. Next up in our program is Corey Johnson, Senior Manager of Program and Engagement at the Safe Routes Partnership. Safe Routes to School is one of the evidence-based recommendations that is part of Move with the Mayor. Safe Routes to School and other programs, increased active travel to school, are included in the community guide. They have been shown to increase walking among students and reduce risks of traffic-related injury. Thank you for joining us, Corey.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks so much for having me. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Corey Johnson, and I'm here to share a little bit about a great initiative called Safe Routes to School. Some of you might be familiar with it. Some of you might not be familiar with it, but it's a really great way to get you moving in your communities and especially connecting with young people and kids and families. So I'm Corey Johnson with the Safe Routes Partnership. For those of you who might not be familiar with us, we are a national organization, and our whole mission is to advance safe walking, biking, rolling, and scooting, both to schools, but also everyday destinations, whether that's a park or a library or a grocery store, and really thinking about improving the health and well-being of people of all races, income levels, abilities, and disabilities, and really building healthy, thriving communities for everyone. Next slide, please. And I'm based in Baltimore, Maryland. We work across the country, but we're kind of sprinkled across all different communities. And I am, here in the Mid-Atlantic. So Safe Routes to School, we say that it's both a movement and a program. And the whole goal is to get more kids walking, biking, rolling to school, and making that journey safer, more convenient, and more fun and joyful for kids of all backgrounds in all communities, from our smallest towns all the way to our biggest cities. And all the pictures in this presentation are real pictures of kids participating in Safe Routes to School communities across the country. So you can get a little glimpse into what this looks like. Next slide, please. So as Michelle just mentioned, Safe Routes to School, it's an evidence-based program backed by the CDC, and we know that Safe Routes to School works. So Safe Routes to School programs increase rates in students walking and biking to school. It also really impacts safety around school zones, leading to less serious injuries and fatalities, especially along school routes. We also know that kids who can walk and bike to school are both more physically active and also just more prepared to come to school ready to learn and engage in the academic portion of their day. Next slide. So we love Safe Routes to School because it does so many benefits. Of course, they are, like I mentioned, the safety benefit of making streets a lot safer for kids to walk, bike, and roll. They're the physical activity benefit, so providing more opportunities for kids to be physically active before and after the school day. But there are a whole host of other benefits too. Everything from saving cost on transportation, not having to operate a large bus fleet, to climate benefits of just with more people walking, biking on their streets. Even community connectedness, so creating opportunities for young people to travel to school together or with their family is one big benefit of Safe Routes to School programs. And then the next slide, you'll see kind of the basic framework of Safe Routes to School programs. And a lot of the examples I'm going to talk about today kind of lie in this engagement and encouragement and education part of Safe Routes to School. There's an engineering part as well, evaluating of Safe Routes to School programs, what's working, what's not working, what might need to be changed. But this is kind of like the most, the comprehensive approach to a strong Safe Routes to School program. And most programs kind of incorporate a little bit of each one of these elements into their actual program. Next slide, please. So you might be wondering, what does a Safe Routes to School program look like? And I say that it can look like lots of different things depending on the community that you're in. Most Safe Routes to School programs kind of have a balance of the infrastructure piece, so projects like sidewalk construction or creating walking paths, bike paths, reducing speeding around school zones, extending curbs to be ADA accessible. So there's kind of like that infrastructure piece that's really impacting the design of the street to make it safer to walk and bike. And there are also non-infrastructure activities. So things like walk and roll to school day, walking school bus programs, bike trains, walking Wednesdays, some of the activities that our previous speakers are presenting on, where it doesn't involve any sort of change to the street, but it's really about getting out with the community and doing some fun non-infrastructure activities. And on the next slide, this is just a slide that I wanted to share with you all that truly stress the idea of Safe Routes to School working in every community. So like I mentioned, we have Safe Routes programs in small rural towns all the way to really big cities. And it's a really good opportunity to kind of make a program or a project your own. So there's no one size fits all approach. It's really, what does your community need? How do you all want to go out and build this program? How do you enjoy being physically active? And then building your program really around what the community wants and in collaboration with community members. Next slide, please. So getting started with Safe Routes, if you're somebody who, maybe you don't know if there's a Safe Routes program in your community, maybe you're looking to get involved in a Safe Routes to School activity in your community, there are a few great ways to kind of get started with that process. So one is connecting with your local Safe Routes to School coordinator. There are a lot of communities that are investing in Safe Routes to School, and one of those investments is hiring a Safe Routes to School coordinator or manager, who is the person who's in charge of running Safe Routes to School programs locally. So if you have one in your community, that'd be a great person to connect with right off the bat. We also encourage you to collaborate with your local transportation agency or public health agency. If you have a Safe Routes coordinator in your community, they might be working as a part of one of those departments or maybe a school district. And we also encourage mayors and other elected officials to join a Safe Routes event. And I can share a few of those opportunities in our next slide of ways you can get involved. So kind of moving towards spring, hopefully, and a lot of Safe Routes programs really kick into gear once the warm weather kicks in. So in May is National Bike Month, and on May 6th, schools will be celebrating National Bike and Roll to School Day. That's a great opportunity to come out, be with the community, bike to school, or walk and bike with young people. I think here in this picture, this might be the mayor of Pittsburgh at a walk-in bike to school event day. So that's a great way to get involved. And then in the fall, we have Walk and Roll to School Day in October and Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day in November, which celebrates Ruby Bridges and her courageous walk. It also encourages more kids to walk and bike to school. We also encourage our mayors to attend a walk audit or a site visit to see what's happening along school routes, what's safe, what's unsafe, what are those concerns, and then try to incorporate some of those changes into upcoming plans or projects in your city or town. Also highlighting Safe Routes on social media or in e-newsletters if there's a walk and roll event coming up, if there's a walk audit coming up, if there's a new infrastructure project coming up. Just putting that out to general communications is really helpful. And then also elevating safe travel is a priority, both in policy, planning, and funding. And speaking of funding, I'll talk a little bit about some funding opportunities that are on the horizon. So one is the Safe Streets and Roads for All program. This is a federal funding source focused on preventing road injuries and fatalities. We believe that this will be the final cycle, will be coming up this spring. The NOFO should come out in March. But this is a great opportunity to fund safe routes to school projects. The federal government that's awarding these grants really looks favorably among a lot at safe routes to school projects. So we encourage this opportunity as one to really get some good projects up and running for students to walk and bike to school safely. So more information will be coming from us towards the end of March about Safe Streets and Roads for All. A little bit more about it in case you haven't heard of SS4A or looking to apply. On the next slide, here are a few opportunities or a few examples of how you can use SS4A funding. So developing safe routes to school plans, some of these non-infrastructure projects I was just talking about. So collecting data, walk and roll events, testing out infrastructure, community art, stipends to parents or caregivers to help run some of these events. We also have SS4A because the match does not have to be cash, so it can be volunteer time, crossing guard time. You know that making the match can be a big struggle, especially for our smaller communities. And SS4A is a bit more flexible with that, with those matching funds. So there's a lot more information on the SS4A website, and you're also just welcome to reach out to me if you're interested in applying for SS4A. Like I mentioned, the new NOFO will be out in March. And then if you want to look at a few other funding opportunities that are either currently open or will be open relatively shortly. On the next slide, I list a few more. There are a lot of, sometimes there are opportunities to get safe routes to school funding through public health grants, air quality awareness. Those are some grants that often fund safe routes to school projects, just other smaller grants related to physical activity. AARP has a really great program called the Community Challenge Grants. If you haven't applied for one of those, that's a great opportunity to do some safe routes work. T-Mobile also has a grant opportunity called T-Mobile Hometown Grants. They're for smaller towns and rural communities, but that's another way to get some funding to support safe routes to school programs. I linked all of these opportunities in the slide deck too, so hopefully these can be sent out afterwards. You can have a click. And then just lastly, if we're looking to just learn a bit more about safe routes to school, we've created a safe routes to school primer for local elected officials. It gives an overview of safe routes to school, strategies to support safe routes to school in your community, some local case studies and policy opportunities. So if you want to do a bit of a deeper dive into safe routes and how you can play a part in safe routes in your community, I definitely recommend that resource as a go-to one for our mayors. And so that is it for me. My contact information is here. Feel free to reach out at any time. I'm happy to answer questions or connect you to a safe routes person in your community. And yeah, just thank you all so much for having me and look forward to answering questions a bit later. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey, for sharing that with us. We're excited to hear from our next speakers who will discuss how their communities have implemented safe routes to school. I would like to first introduce Mayor Travis Stovall of Gresham, Oregon.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you for having me for sure. Greatly appreciate this opportunity to share what we are doing in Gresham. First up, I just want to give you a little bit of insight into Gresham. Most folks ask me, where is Gresham? And I always say Portland is our suburb to the west. So that gives you kind of a geographic idea of where Gresham sits. We're just on the east side of the Portland metro. We're actually Oregon's fourth largest city, second largest city in the metro at about 117,000 people. So that's a little bit about kind of where Gresham is in relationship to the city of Portland. We also sit at the mouth of the gorge and at the base of Mount Hood. So two glorious places to be able to get out and move, not just move with the mayor, but just move in general. So, you know, we've got those amenities that actually should encourage folks to get out and get moving. You know, and I first want to say that prior to being the mayor, I actually used to bike about 20 miles every single day on what we call the Springwater Trail. So a significant infrastructure that we have here in the Portland Metro that gives us the ability to get out. Sadly, that has diminished substantially since becoming mayor. And connecting with the move to the mayor last year and doing a couple of events has encouraged me to get back out and make sure that I'm actually practicing what I preach and actually, as James said earlier, actually walking the walk. So over the last decade, Gresham has done a variety of safe routes to schools programming. We've done things like walk with the mayor, walk and roll the school events, pedestrian bike safety educations, and what you see here, we've got our bike rodeo and traffic safety park, which are very, very popular among our youth to be able to get out and start to experience these things from their perspective. So the bike rodeo, very, very fun. But then again, I will say that traffic safety park is something that has taken on across the region now, not just in Gresham. And we've got different communities that are using the exact same things, which allows youth and kids to be able to jump in, utilize these resources, and to be able to learn at an early age what it's like to interact with traffic safety. So with that, I'm going to move quickly into the area of my move with the mayor. And that started with May Bike Month, which is our month that we focus on biking here in Gresham. And last spring, I had the opportunity to do this move with the mayor event with that bike event and celebrate bicycling, which I just shared with you. I actually get the opportunity historically to ride a lot, not as much these days, but I still get to ride. And I will share this that I am what they call in the world of bicycling a Clydesdale. I didn't know that existed, but I'm a larger person, and larger folks who love to cycle are called Clydesdales, and bicycles aren't quite built. I didn't know that for a guy my size. And so ultimately, I do still get out, I do still ride, and I absolutely enjoy it. So we did a move at the mayor event where we got a number of people who showed up one evening to cycle with the mayor. And so we cycled all around the city of Gresham. Again, that infrastructure that I talked about earlier, which is called the combination of our Springwater Trail and our Y East Trail. And Y East, for those folks who actually don't know and aren't familiar, Y East is actually the indigenous Native American name for Mount Hood. And so we try to recognize the ancestral ownership of these lands here in the Pacific Northwest and try to ensure that we're harkening back to the recognition of that. So the Y East Trail is a major trail that goes through East County and Gresham. And again, that's a recognition of the Y East, which is Mount Hood, and that Indigenous Native American title. One other thing I want to reference was our move with the mayor event and our safe routes to schools. And it was just referenced a moment ago in the fact that actually us mayors and electeds getting out and walking these routes is incredibly insightful for as we try to work with and deal with things that are unsafe in these walks. So I actually did a walk to school event with one of our grade schools here not too long ago, and had the opportunity to walk with a number of our students and talk with them and listen to some of the challenges that they see in and around the school. And then I recognized some things that we need to do and we need to improve as a city with our safe routes. And so it's as I've already referenced, we've been at the Safe Routes for Schools efforts for about the last decade. We've seen some substantial improvements in our safety routes and our routes to schools, but we've got a long way to go and still will continue to partner. But that event gave me the opportunity to actually get out there and walk these routes myself with our students and get some insight on the challenges. But it also, I can tell you, it was well received by the students to have the mayor walking them to school. And then the additional benefit is one of the parents that was walking their kids to school was one of our firefighters. And so I had the opportunity to touch base with him and listen. And his son actually turned to his dad and said, "I think I could beat the mayor in a race." And so we've got that challenge still sitting out there. We haven't raced yet, but I'm probably a little nervous because he might just win. So with that, just a couple of pieces of advice of what we learned. Collaboration is essential. We want to make sure that we collaborate with all of our partners, Safe Routes to Schools organizations and efforts that we have. Families, other entities. We actually partnered with one of the local kind of bike organizations. They brought out some folks to our biking event. We partnered with other organizations, the county, various cities, just to raise the awareness around the work that we're doing. We also say start with youth, make sure you get our youth involved, and not just from a perspective of participating, but also We actually tap our youth to help us in the planning and the setup of all of this because that just continues to drive that commitment. And then tie leadership to lived experience, and show us walking, show us interacting with our community. Lastly, as you see on the screen, challenges and opportunities. We always struggle with limited capacities and resources. I think we all are struggling with those every single day as leaders and elected officials. And so we always say, as much as we can, align our programming with other opportunities throughout the region. That's one of the best things that we can say. That's our biggest opportunity. That helps us solve one of our biggest challenges. Is how do we leverage other opportunities and resources and programming that are already going on. There is no specific kind of pride in ownership. So as long as we can leverage what other folks are doing, we will leverage that any day of the week to get the highest and best results. So with that, just want to thank you for the time and attention, and just absolutely love sharing the Move with the Mayor efforts that we've been a part of and our Safe Routes to School efforts, because we think they actually are providing significant and substantial dividends. So thank you.
Thank you for those insights into safe routes in Gresham. We'll now turn it over to Becca Eversole Robinson, the transportation planner in Carrboro, North Carolina, who will tell us about safe routes in her community.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here to talk about our town, Carrboro, North Carolina, and our efforts at both Safe Routes to School and also our work with the Move with the Mayor program. Next slide, please. So just, I'm sorry, the previous one. Just a little background about Carrboro and where we are. We're located in the Research Triangle portion of North Carolina. That's Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill specifically is our neighboring community. So we are immediately west of Chapel Hill. We're immediately west of my alma mater, the University of North Carolina, go Heels, and the hospital complex. And because of that, a lot of the people who live in Carrboro have some connection to UNC. They are either students at UNC, they are faculty, they are staff, they are doctors at the hospital, they are faculty, they're staff at the hospital. Along with this, we have a large, relatively speaking, immigrant population. We are an affluent community. We have some of the highest home prices in our region, which for a lot of people is not a good thing. But we do have pockets of poverty that have persisted, especially in those immigrant communities, especially in those communities of color. Next slide, please. So just a few basics. We have a little bit more than 21,000 people crammed into 6.5 square miles, which makes us the most dense community in North Carolina. And one of our biggest benefits that we have here is that we share with Chapel Hill. We share a lot of things with Chapel Hill, and I'll go into more of that. But we share a fare-free bus system that's very robust for a community our size, and it's been a great asset for us. Carrboro is originally a railroad community. It was a textile community, and now because of the influx of people from Chapel Hill, from UNC, we have a progressive culture. We have politically and culturally speaking, we're a progressive town. We have a thriving art scene, and we have a strong cycling culture here. And as you can see, one of our major sites here in town was a former textile mill, which is now basically our main shopping center, Carmel Mall, and that's the picture in the middle. And as we do have a progressive culture in Carrboro, we do have a commitment to both racial equity and climate action in our local government, and both of those play a key role in our efforts for safe routes to school. Next slide. Just a bit of background on how things are set up in Carrboro. Once again, we share a school district with Chapel Hill. So Chapel Hill, Carrboro City Schools. 5 of the schools in that district are here in Carrboro. So we have Carrboro Elementary, Carrboro High School, McDougall Elementary, and McDougall Middle School. Those two are on the same campus, by the way. That's just a little heads up because it's important to get an idea about where things are located. And Morris Grove Elementary. So our school districts range from being a little bit more urban the closer you get to downtown, a lot of walking, a lot of biking at those schools, to less biking and walking the further out you go. So Carrboro Elementary is near downtown. McDougall is a little further away. The McDougall schools are a little further away from downtown, but there is a lot of walking and biking. There is a culture of that here in Carrboro. Less so, unfortunately, because at Carrboro High School in Morris Grove, just because it's more suburban and it's more spread out. We have been doing Safe Routes to School in Carrboro for quite a while now. We're 14 years in. We developed our first action plan in 2012. Because of that, we are the first Safe Routes to School program in North Carolina. Next slide. And with that action plan, we created an implementation committee. We integrated Safe Routes to School priorities into the subsequent transportation and planning documents that we've done in subsequent years. The town has committed to both complete streets and a Vision Zero mindset, and we participate twice a year in the walk and bike and roll to school days. And as it's been 14 years since that action plan was created, it is time for us to update that. And of course, that's another first for North Carolina. We're the first town to update our action plan. So that is currently in progress. We do expect to have that adopted in 2026, later in this year. And to assist us with our Safe Routes to School work, we did win a Safe Streets for All demonstration grant last December. We are going to use that to set up some demonstration projects around Carrboro, especially close to Carrboro Elementary and the McDougall schools. These are going to include rectangular rapid flashing beacons, improving crosswalks, restriping bike lanes on certain streets, to add buffers, to narrow the traffic lanes, and whatever else our grant can gives us the opportunity to put into place. Next slide. We are an active community. Lots of if you drive or more appropriately walk or ride a bike around Carrboro, you're going to see a lot of cyclists. You're going to see a lot of joggers. You're going to see a lot of people out on the sidewalk. And that's true of our mayors as well. We've had a history of active mayors in Carrboro, especially cyclists. We've had a lot of mayors who are very avid cyclists. And our current mayor, Barbara Fouché, is no different. She's a very active mayor. And last May, she announced her Move with the Mayor campaign. And basically her three big pushes when it came to Carrboro's Move with the Mayor campaign is we began Mental Health Mondays at our new library complex, which is called the Drakeford Library Complex. For members of Carrboro staff, we were recommended to start having walking meetings. So instead of being cooped up in a conference room, we just get out and walk while we're discussing, important topics. And the most important thing to what I'm talking about today, of course, is continuing the mayoral participation in the walk/bike and roll to school days. Next slide. And Carrboro participates in this every May and October. We also have a bike month in May. We have lots of great events. I can tell you one of the great events that we have is we have a bike breakfast. So we have we have a bikeway in Carborough, and a bit of it's in Chapel Hill that is dedicated to probably the most famous resident of Carborough, Elizabeth Libba Cotton, who is a famous folk singer who wrote the song "Freight Train Blues," which was very um, inspirational to a lot of musicians. And Freight Train Blues was written about Carborough. It's written about her childhood in Carborough. But we have a bikeway that's dedicated to her, and it is one of the main ways that cyclists and walkers go between the UNC campus and the town of Carborough. So what we do every month is um, we we give biscuits out. We give out like ham and pastrami biscuits and lots of sweet things, danishes, fruit, all that good stuff, um, just to um, just to encourage folks to to not drive, to use our bike and pedestrian facilities, and and that also goes with Walk and Roll to School in October. And of course, if you know anything about, and you've heard a little background about Walk and Roll to School, parents and students are encouraged to commute to school car free on that day. Well, they're encouraged to do that every day, but especially that day. And every time we have this, we tend to our staff and some volunteers, sometimes members of our transportation board, will count all of the auto and bus commuters in the morning. We'll have information out in the afternoon. And just to give you an idea of how we did this year, we had 248 walkers and 141 cyclists in May. And this was a time when a couple of caveats. First of all, a big portion of the fourth graders at one of our elementary schools were on a field trip, so they were not in school that day, and also it was raining that day. But next slide, we had fantastic um, we had fantastic participation at our Walk with the Mayor events that we have at all of those walk and bike enrolled to school days. So in October, so just a few months ago, we had 400 walkers and we had 159 cyclists across our 5 schools. This was the first time that all 5 of our schools participated. Our high school didn't originally participate, but with the update to our Safe Routes to School plan, we have folded in the high school, and we're now adding them to our program. So, like I said, we had a large crowd of students and parents who walked with Mayor Barbara Fouché and the school principal, as you can see in this picture, riding a one wheel, every time I see him riding that is always amazing to me. Riding it from Wilson Park, which is a nearby park, to Carver Elementary School, via the Francis Shetley Bikeway, which is another of our great bike and pedestrian facilities here in town, and it just happens to be between that park and Carver Elementary School. And this is something I'm really excited about because this is something I wanted to do. So ever since I got here, and I've been here with the town for about a year and a half. This November, we are going to have our first Ruby Bridges walk to school event, and that is going to be at McDougall Elementary School, and we're really proud of that. And I know the mayor will be out in force with all of us for that as well.
Thank you so much, Becca. This is super exciting. I know we're at just over time, over the top of the hour, so we're just going to wrap up real quick. Thank you so much to Mayors Avila, Stovall, Armand, Corey, and Becca for your fantastic presentations. We truly appreciate all the information and expertise you shared with us. Coming up next on the docket with Move with the Mayor is the Mental Health and Social Connectivity Challenge, which will cover the month of May. Your community engagement coordinator will be reaching out to you. If you don't have a contact yet, please put information in the chat so we can send all the information to you and connect you with the community engagement coordinator. We will be sending out the recording of today's session as well as the slides and the links that were shared so you can research and take advantage of some of the great opportunities and learn more from each of the communities. So again, thank you all so very much. We'll have a quick poll at the end. We understand people have to drop, but we want to know what interests you the most. So if you wanted to take a second to pop into the chat what information would be most useful to you, we'll be sure to get back with you. And thanks again for spending part of your day with us. Have a great rest of your Heart Month. And thanks again to everybody on this call.